Welcome into College Football Now. I am Harrison Graham, and on today's show, we're going to take a look at Jimbo Fisher's fall from grace at Texas A&M, as that hot seat could be heating up. Now, I don't think A&M is going to fire him. I will outline that in a minute, but they have lost 6 straight games, 3-7 on the season, and we'll take a look at some candidates A&M could hire to replace him if they opted to do the unthinkable and fire Jimbo Fisher. So I'll ask you guys, will Jimbo Fisher get fired after this season? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Simple yes or no question here on the show. Do you guys believe that Texas A&M will fire Jimbo Fisher after this season? Y for yes or in for no. So the reason we're talking about this is because Texas A&M had all the hype in the world coming into the season. Number 1 recruiting class, beat Alabama last year, preseason top 10. They gave him that pay raise after already having a $75 million contract. Now he has an $86 million buyout. Oh, and guess what? He has a worse record than Kevin Sumlin did through 58 games. Now, that's a bit skewed. Sumlin started his tenure very well. Johnny Manziel, obviously, a bunch of games. But still, that's not what you signed up for when you gave Jimbo Fisher $95 million. That just ain't it. You look at this season, how it's played out. Beat Sam Houston, lost to App State, beat Miami, should have lost to Arkansas, but you won that to get to 3-1, and then just a disaster since then. Loss against Mississippi State, loss against Alabama when you had a chance to win late, loss against South Carolina, lost to Ole Miss, lost to Florida, lost to Auburn. You added up your 3-7. Oh, and you got LSU on the schedule too as well. Still, they're going to lose that game. It's been a disaster this year for Texas A&M. You can't defend it. You've paid this guy to compete for SEC championships, and while he's had some good moments before this year, this is bad. This is really, really bad. If you could describe Texas A&M season in one word, how would you describe it? Failure? Disaster? Pathetic? Embarrassing? Bad? It's been a disaster down in College Station. There's no way around it. Even diehard Jimbo Fisher fans and defenders will say, yeah, this is unacceptable. Let me know what your one-word reaction is for the Aggies this season. Now, shout out to Established Titles for sponsoring today's episode of College Football Now by Chat Sports. Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the woodlands, the natural woodlands in Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. This project is based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Eddleston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. We plant a tree with every order and work with global charities like One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support those global reforestation efforts. You can officially include the title of Lord or Lady on your credit card, your plane tickets, your dating profiles, etc. And by the way, the first 200 people who purchase a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot because I've got my own plot of land thanks to Established Titles. Depending on how many of you want to become a Lord or Lady, we can build our own Chat Sports Kingdom. It makes for an amazing last-minute gift. Established Titles is actually well underway on their early Black Friday sale with deals up to 80% off, and we're going to throw you guys an extra 10% off when you use promo code CHAT at establishedtitles.com/chat. That is promo code CHAT at establishedtitles.com/chat. Support our sponsors, support the show today by going to Established Titles. All right. Again, I don't think they will fire Jimbo Fisher because he has an $86 million buyout, but here are 10 candidates they can consider if they go that route. At number 10, Todd Monken, the Georgia offensive coordinator. I think what he's done with Stetson Bennett has been really impressive, has some pro concepts. I like what he's been able to do. I think if he wants to, he could be a head coach at the college level at some point soon. I don't know if A&M would hire him, but I do think he could get that opportunity. And, of course, he has SEC recruiting experience. Number 9, Dan Lanning, who was the Georgia DC last year, took the Oregon job this year. I know the Ducks just had a disappointing loss to Washington at home to kind of eliminate their college football playoff hopes, but he's done a nice job there in year 1. He seems to be content there, but we know A&M is willing to pay big. They just did it with Jimbo. He could be someone to consider if he became available. At number 8, Dave Aranda. Let's explore Dave Aranda for a little bit here. The head coach at Baylor, they're having a bit of a disappointing year. They're 6-4 on the season, but last year they won a Big 12 championship. He's a great defensive coach, was on Ed Orgeron's staff at LSU as the defensive coordinator when they won the national championship with Joe Burrow back in 2019. He's got those SEC ties during his years at LSU, and you're staying in the same state. You go from Waco to College Station, which is only about 90 minutes away from one another. Dave Aranda could make some sense, and I do think he'd be interested. At number 7, Sonny Dykes, the head coach at TCU. My alma mater, I would hate to lose him after 1 year. I don't think he's looking to go anywhere, but at the same time, if A&M's willing to throw $10 million a year at a different coach, I think any candidate would listen. What he has done in replacing a legend in Gary Patterson and turning this thing around from 3 out of 4 years not going to a bowl game the last 4 years for TCU to 10-0 and on the precipice of a college football playoff appearance if they win their next couple of games. It's been impressive. He recruits his ass off. He understands the transfer portal. The staff he's put together and the job he's done has been great. And, oh, by the way, he knows offense. Jimbo Fisher, he is a fraud when it comes to being a quarterback guru. That is the most overrated part about him. I think at minimum, A&M is going to have to strip play calling duties from him. Will TCU make the college football playoff this year? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. They've got Baylor on the road. Then they play Iowa State at home, then a Big 12 title game. If they win all three, they're a lock. If they win one of their last two and then win a Big 12 championship game, decent chance they could still get in. We will see. Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Predict it for us. Does TCU make the CFP? Number 6, Luke Fickell, the head coach at Cincinnati, who quietly has put together an 8-2 year, which, hey, you want to say, that's not impressive to me. Well, he makes the college football playoff last year, the first team to make the CFP as a group of 5 team. Loses a ton of talent, including Desmond Ridder, Sauce Gardner, and other pieces as well. Backing it up with an 8-2 season, both of his losses in tight games. Luke Fickell's a hell of a coach. He's going to be in the Big 12 soon. He's doing a really nice job. Top 5 we go. Hugh Freeze, the head coach at Liberty, who they've given him a couple pay raises because he's doing a nice job. Now, they just lost to UConn out of nowhere, but 7-2 this year, having a nice bounce back year after being disappointing last year, only going 7-5 with Malik Willis. They beat Arkansas a couple weeks ago. Sorry, producer Trace. But Hugh Freeze, he's got baggage, but he knows the SEC. Maybe. We'll see. Number 4, here's where it gets interesting. How about Kliff Kingsbury? Cardinals not having a great year. Kliff Kingsbury was the offensive coordinator at A&M for Johnny Manziel when Kevin Sumlin was the head coach. When Kliff left for Texas Tech, A&M kind of folded under Sumlin. That's when things fell apart. Could you bring him back to be a head coach? He didn't have a great tenure at Tech. He's been up and down as the Cardinals head coach. It's interesting. I'll say this. Let's say Kliff gets fired as the Cardinals head coach, which he might. They're having a disappointing year. If you don't fire Jimbo, Kliff is the first name I would call to be my new offensive coordinator to come call plays in College Station because Jimbo has got to get this offense fixed. All right, before we get to the top 3, make sure you guys subscribe to College Football Now. If there are any notable updates, we've got you covered. More subscribers equals more videos on the channel. Don't miss any of it here on Chat Sports. Top 3 we go. Deion Sanders, the head coach at Jackson State. Now, I don't think A&M would be the school that would hire him personally. I think Auburn makes more sense. But I think all these schools, if they decide to fire Jimbo, for example, anyone with an opening should at least reach out to Deion and his reps. I mean, what he's doing at Jackson State has not been replicated at the HBCU level. He is getting legit top 300 recruits, including the number 1 recruit last year, to commit to him at Jackson State. And, oh, by the way, if you convince him to come to your program and lead your football team, you'll get his son, who is a damn good quarterback. You'll probably get it's Travis Hunter, the number 1 recruit from last year, too. He'll probably transfer, too. You'll get him on board. Just saying. Deion, it's unconventional, but he's doing a hell of a job. Number 2, Matt Rule, the ex-Panthers head coach, former Baylor head coach as well. I expect him to get a college football head coaching job this cycle, whether it's Nebraska, Wisconsin, a job that I'm not foreseeing that could open up as well. He knows how to rebuild a program. Not saying A&M needs a full rebuild, but he's a great leader of men. I think any coach or team would be lucky to have him that needs a head coach. I think he'll be back in the game this year. And then at number 1, how about Lane Kiffin? He trolled Jimbo a couple weeks ago, beat him straight up head-to-head. and should have beat Alabama this past weekend. But the point being is what he's doing at Ole Miss is impressive. Went to a Sugar Bowl last year. This year they're 8-2 on the cusp of another New Year's Six bowl game. Lane Kiffin's entertaining. He's got a good offense. He's a good coach, man. Now, he's making a lot of money at Ole Miss. You would have to pay him a lot to get him to come to A&M, but A&M's got resources. We know that. They have there's a reason Jimbo has an $86 million buyout, because they are willing to pay. So we'll see. Something to monitor. Lane Train, he's a good candidate here. All right, who would be the best fit for the Texas A&M head coaching job? 10 candidates I just threw out there for you guys. Name someone that you think would be a good fit, whether it's someone I mentioned or someone else. And we'll see you next time here at College Football Now.